if you're working on a watercolor board that is waterproof, this is another way that you can sort of flatten your paper instead of taping it. You can get it wet on one side and then flip it over and kind of press it down with your hand, and then get it wet on the other side. And then you need to take a little paper towel and go along the edge so that you get the water off of your board and just it stays onto your paper. Okay, I'm going to mix up this card is going to be a stormy day. So I want you to mix up some blue and a little purple paint. And instead of doing it all over, leave some room for some clouds. And like I said, sometimes you can just sort of shut your eyes and come up with some random kind of shapes. So this time I want you to try and leave some white spaces. And then you can go in a little darker with your blue on top. And then the reason I wanted you to have a jar like this is so you can really land your brush on the bottom of it and make sure it's clean. And then pick up just a very little bit of black paint, because the clouds, they're not really black, they are gray when it's stormy. So you can dilute your black once you get it on your plate with some water, or you can just take your paintbrush and dilute it so that it's more of a gray color. And then I want you to just, not everywhere, but just sort of randomly put some gray clouds in there. And you can mix some of it in with your sky. And then maybe get it just a little bit darker, because this is a real stormy day. Then you can take your spray bottle and very lightly spray it. It's always a temptation to spray too much, so just give it a very light spray and try and hit the edges and not so much the white, but try and hit the edges of the blue or the dark, and then pick up your board and just sort of watch the colors flow. And you can do it diagonally, you can just keep turning it all over the place, but once you start to lose your whiteness, you don't want to do too much of that. So go back in after it's sprayed like that, and then add some more of your blue. And you can just sort of drop it in very gently. And this will just give you more depth to your painting. You don't have to let it dry. You can, and that will give you even more depth if you let it dry before you do this part, but I get impatient, and probably you do too, so just kind of go in with some more color, and once again, try not to do it evenly, it's just kind of random. Okay, now you can take your scrunched up paper towel, scrunch it up like a cloud, and first start where it's white already and make those really white. It's quite difficult to leave white paper, but you'll see once you start painting more that the white paper really makes your painting sparkle. So try not to fill in the whole thing. And remember, clouds can be fat or long or short or little or big. So just try and make some different ones. And remember to keep turning your paper so that you're not just putting more paint down on top of the clouds. And remember the little fingers I told you about that clouds have. So you can add, just kind of wrap your finger around the paper towel and you can add little fingers like that. Another way you can do this is with a Q-tip. It might be easier for you to make little fingers with a Q-tip. And once again, you just want to make sure you're not putting paint on top of the white, so you have to switch your paper towel around. And sometimes when you think something looks the worst, it can come out being the best. Now, I thought this cloud down here looked just really stupid and goofy looking, but I think I'm starting to like it. Especially if I can make it not look like an even hump. So I'm trained to make it look irregular.